I think the Lakers figured out something on defense. And if you watched their game last night, or their game against the Denver Nuggets where all three of Luka Doncic, LeBron, and Austin Reeves were healthy, I think you might know what I'm talking about too. That being their defense, and specifically how they match up with guys like Nikola Jokic and Alperen Şengün, two bigger guys that like to operate through the mid to high post, also through repetitive high pick and roll play, them obviously being the roller in that situation, and the Lakers actually taking an untraditional approach to defending it. Not by playing bigger than them or necessarily more physical, albeit pretty physical nonetheless, but actually being smaller, quicker, and much more versatile than them on the court. And we're going to talk about how they did it, the unconventional approach they took to it, and what JJ Redick is kind of cooking here. But before we get too far into it, don't forget to check out G2A.com. They got your best new games like Monster Hunter Wilds, gaming gift cards, PC software, and much more. You can check them out in the video description down below. But now getting back to our topic. And like I mentioned before, the Lakers defense played great last night, holding the Rockets to only 98 points, which is pretty impressive in the modern NBA, especially against a number 2 seed like the Rockets, albeit not the most high-powered offense, but a very good defensive showing nonetheless. I mean, for example, the last time the Rockets got beat and were held under 98 points was way back on February 13th against Golden State, the king of small ball defense themselves. And I think the Lakers took a similar approach to it, not only with the way they defended Alperen Şengün, but really about their entire defensive scheme in general, what they prioritized, their rebounding, and much more. So without further ado, let's dive right into it, and beginning with how they match up with Alperen Şengün. Like I talked about, not a whole lot of playing bigger against him, but some very physical play nonetheless, primarily with a combination of Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Jared Vanderbilt off the bench. I mean, taking a look at the stat sheet here, Jackson Hayes, their biggest player by far, only played 14 minutes, and that's against a team like the Rockets who have not only Alperen Şengün, but also Steven Adams off the bench, both of which played last night and actually shared the court together last night in an effort to try and break the Lakers out of their small ball lineup. Really having no success against it, whether Şengün played, whether Adams played, whether they were both on the court together, they really found no success against Lakers small ball lineup, and they ultimately came out with the win with their unconventional defensive approach. And like I said, at times it felt nearly identical to the way the Lakers defended Jokic and the Nuggets too, which really isn't that shocking given that Alperen Şengün does draw comparisons to Nikola Jokic. And for example, against Jokic and the Nuggets, here on this play Jokic gets the ball in the high post, but the second that he turns to face the rim, the Lakers throw a double team at him and force him to give the ball up. And comparing that to against the Rockets and Şengün, here on this play during the early first quarter, Şengün gets the ball in the high post, defended by Rui Hachimura, but the second that he turns to face the rim, a blitz from LeBron comes and forces him to give the ball up, passing it to Dillon Brooks, who then takes a very bad 3-point shot, which he does not make. Or then for a different example, here on this play, being defended by Jordan Goodwin, a 6'3" Jordan Goodwin, and that's quite the mismatch. The Rockets find the mismatch, get the ball to Şengün in the low post, but once again, the second that he turns to face the basket, a double team from Rui Hachimura comes and forces him to give the ball up, which he tries to pass around Rui Hachimura, making a bad pass and resulting in a turnover, once again being affected by the pressure, albeit the smaller pressure, that the Lakers applied on him. But hey, the Lakers are playing smaller than him and quite a bit smaller at that, so theoretically they should be able to pass the ball over the top to Şengün, right? Well, not exactly, and the Lakers were prepared for that, which is also something the Nuggets tried and really to no avail. For example, here Westbrook has the ball and tries to pass the ball over the top of Jared Vanderbilt to Nikola Jokic, which doesn't exactly work out too well, resulting in a turnover, but even if it did get there, they had additional help behind Jared Vanderbilt that likely could have poked the ball away from him. And much like on that play, the Rockets try to get the ball to Şengün, trying to pass the ball over the top of Rui Hachimura, which doesn't even get that far. Rui Hachimura picks the ball off, even with a much more coordinated pass from Steven Adams, it doesn't work out for them. And once again, even if it did get there, the Lakers had two defenders behind him that probably would have immediately double teamed him and forced him to give the ball up, much like they did against Nikola Jokic too. And while sooner or later that does tend to lead to frustration, it did for Nikola Jokic and it also did for Alperen Şengün, not getting the ball, or when they do eventually get the ball, immediately having to give the ball up due to being double teamed or blitzed. And well, with a guy like Jared Vanderbilt out there, an absolute pest, that does tend to happen a bit more quickly, which he did against both Nikola Jokic and Alperen Şengün. Against Jokic, kind of getting into him and bugging him, not letting him walk up the court, and eventually Jokic got pretty mad and straight up elbowed Jared Vanderbilt, Jokic getting called for a technical, and a nearly identical situation happened last night. Not quite the technical, but early on in the game during the early second quarter, Vanderbilt defending Alperen Şengün, kind of walking him up the court and being right against him, being an absolute pest again. Alperen Şengün not liking it, trying to get position in the high post, and with Vanderbilt not letting him get there, he throws a mean elbow and knocks Vanderbilt to the ground, also being called for a foul here, albeit not a technical foul like Jokic. So between that, the frustration, not getting the ball, or when he did get the ball, often having to pass the ball away due to being double teamed or blitzed, that led to a not so great night for Alperen Şengün and really the entire Rockets offense, only shooting about 42% from the field, 31% from 3, Şengün ending up with 14 points, 7 rebounds, only 5 of 11 from the field, only 11 field goal attempts, and that's significantly lower than his average, and all around a not so great night or not a usual night for either of them. But then another important part of that often does tend to go overlooked is not only about defending Alperen Şengün, not letting him get the ball or forcing him to give the ball up, but keeping the guy off the offensive glass and not letting him dominate the rebound battle, which they're also able to do. JJ Redick talked about it, talking about number 1, crowding the paint, making it difficult for him to get there, but also making it a priority to box him out, and if you are the guy boxing him out, not necessarily trying to get the rebound, but simply keeping Şengün away from the rebound. And here's what he had to say about it.
JJ, Houston played some huge lineups, and I think you were small for a pretty good portion. What allowed those units to have success, and what's the key when you're in those formations against a team like that?
Well, defensively, it's just packing the paint and getting rebound. I think we did that tonight. LeBron 8 rebounds, Austin 8 rebounds, Luka 6 rebounds, Doe 6 rebounds, Gabe 4 rebounds, Vando 6 rebounds. That's how we have to. Control the glass is by committee. This was very explicit. If you're on Şengün and Adams, you're not going to get the rebound. Your job is to box out. It's somebody else's job to come in, tip the ball to a teammate, or grab the rebound. We were great with that tonight.
Now, it might not sound too difficult with the way Redick said it and kind of explained it there, but it's definitely a lot harder than it looks. Between the timing, the communication it takes, the effort on defense and rebounding in general, and the personnel group to do it with, the Lakers are one of the very few teams that can do that and have done that against a team like the Rockets or Nuggets, and simply against Nikola Jokic and or Alperen Şengün, which they will likely continue to do if they will match up with them, showing that they can do it against them with a more so unconventional approach, that being their more small ball approach, a combination of speed and versatility rather than overwhelming strength and physicality around the rim. That might work for some team or some personnel group, but not really for their team, and they figured out a very good approach to defend a team like that, or simply two individuals like Jokic and Şengün, which they have now shown in different games. But with all of that being said, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the Lakers defense and how they match up with teams like the Denver Nuggets with Nikola Jokic or the Houston Rockets with Alperen Şengün? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.